Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles. This is episode 127. I am ArticulateT, the Game Master, and with me, as always, I have Nether, playing Renji Vox.
There's me! I'm here!
I have Avrdal playing Hikan Sio.
Hello.
I have Shari playing Robopart. Nope, the other way around. I have Robopart playing Shari.
I'm so confused.
Me too,
Oh my God,
apparently.
is real.
Yeah. And I have Keistra playing Max.
Hello, or as Roll20 today would want me to say, ciao, because it thinks I'm Italian.
Buongiorno.
I don't know why, when I logged into Roll20, it decided I was Italian.
Yep. AIAL assigned Italian at login.
Yep. My curse. I have to be
Yeah.
Italian now. Even though I don't know... All the Italian I know is from Assassin's Creed, so have fun with that.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. So, what happened last time?
Last time. After a long time of strange communications through dreams, a vision of a tower in the deep desert, and after exploring multiple floors of magical tower defenses and puzzles, the Storm's Eye finally meet the man they had been searching for. The Archmage Samaria, also known as Lord Draenor, the missing Minister of Magic for the Kingdom of Hyrule. Informing the group about his predicament of having been targeted by magic that was meant to banish him and his tower from this world, he explains that he'd been trying to keep his tower from disappearing fully, causing the tower to anchor itself into different eras of Hyrule's history. Communications to the outside world were hindered, making the communications through dreams the only way for him to reach out. Now that the Storm's Eye had fended off the Sovereign's Hand's invasion, Samaria will be able to slowly but steadily start fixing the mess he's in, while offering aid to the group by giving them a means to, hopefully, save their friend Mara from Nazgrada, or at least a step towards that goal. He also offers a sliver of Imperium, the metal they need to damage Nazgrada's sword. He also mentions an artifact that the royal family might be able to offer to balance the scales between the Storm's Eye and the Sovereign's Hand. Working with Samaria, the group trains. Samaria is able to slow down time to give them several days in the span of minutes, allowing them to gain strength for what is to come. Hyrule is threatened, now more than ever, and a great battle is yet to come. With better preparation now, the Storm's Eye heads back out of the tower into the Gerudo Desert to tie up loose ends, gather allies, and rid the kingdom of the scourge of Nazgrada once and for all.
Very succinctly put. And so it is that we return to our group. Behind them once stood the Tower of Samaria, which has since vanished into nothingness, disappearing from this plane and leaving them within the middle of the Gerudo Desert. It is a relatively late afternoon by the time they emerge. The unbroken sky allowing the oppressive sun to bear down on them as plans need to be made. Of course, as mentioned, there are several loose ends to take care of. But as you travel, because I assume you do not wish to stand in one spot, possibly, I believe,
Effective.
yeah, looking for some kind of suitably sized flora through which to teleport through if needs be. Where is it that you intend to go first as part of your tying up loose ends thing?
I believe the idea was to go back to Hyrule Castle Town.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Was there any other idea that we had picked out first?
I know the options were gather allies, go to Castletown and say, please, can we have stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And deal with the war stuff.
Going to the
hurry
king
up
and
to
go, please,
Castletown.
sir, can I have some more?
Maybe they'll be more inclined to give us stuff if we deal with the war first? Or at least the stuff we were told to deal with there?
Fair.
The allies one is the only other one that I would have any inkling towards, which would be going to Automark to get Roto to go talk, or not Roto, to go get Kaikwana to go talk to the Gorons, or going to Drumnik or Zora's Domain ourselves. But I agree with Keistrith that we'll probably be more likely to get stuff from the king if we go deal with the stuff in the war effort
It's the
first.
stuff we were asked to look into.
Yeah.
While we were in the area.
I think going into Hyrule Castletown to deliver at least some information and then travel either through Artemark towards the war might be a good set of procedure of events.
Here's a question and how we're planning this. How many times can you teleport a day, Zayden?
Yeah, it was pre-planned. 1, 2, 3, 4 maximum.
Okay. So yeah, we can stop by Hyrule Castletown. Hey, this is what this is going on. We're not done yet. We're going to go do that right now. We just wanted to stop in, if that's the case.
Yeah, going to petition the king for stuff right now, it doesn't seem like a good idea, time-wise.
Okay.
I think just deal with war stuff, go to Castletown, ask for stuff, go get allies, ... profit.
Yep, that sounds good. Sounds like a good idea.
Okay. Awesome. So it is you journey outward with a plan set in mind. In the hopes of finding a plant of some kind, please give me a survival roll or a nature roll, whichever you prefer.
All of us?
Can I help by going up and getting a bird's eye view?
Sure. Whoever wishes to roll, and yes, helping in that fashion is perfectly fine.
Well, that's
I'll
a
have a
natural one for me.
31 then.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah, with the additional bird's eye view, as you return to your sand seals, or I think it's only there are still multiple sand seals.
Yeah.
You are able to find essentially a small oasis that has at the very least one large enough cactus for you to be able to use. As you turn the course and make your way towards it, and after roughly an hour's worth of overland travel, you find yourself in the presence of this oasis, this perfect little slice of heaven within this arid nonsense that is the Gerudo Desert. There is a small lake of water which is about 30 feet in diameter, a few succulent plants, as well as one palm tree upon closer inspection. And thankfully, it does not appear to be a mirage, which is very helpful.
It is very helpful, yes.
God, don't tell my expert mirages. Be like, what do you mean the desert can lie to us?
It's not even just the desert, it's also your eyes. Your eyes lie to you.
No!
Oh dear. Yeah. Tyrina will look about this oasis. We'll take a small slip of paper from a pouch somewhere and write something down. and then put it away and say, okay, so you're off to go and take care of the rest of the heroic stuff. Good. I'll, as promised, I'll make my way back to Gerudo Fortress and see if I can't get them to help as well.
That'd be much appreciated. And thank you again for all of the help that you've given us.
Hey, you've helped me a lot more than I could ever help you. Where would you like me to meet you after I've spoken to the general and maybe the king?
We will be traveling to Hyrule Castle Town and visit a friend at Artemark. And then we'll be traveling west.
Okay. If that's the case, I will make a beeline for Artemark, because then I can coordinate with whoever's there. And yeah, it'll probably be easier to get through to them as it would be to go straight to Castletown and speak with the nobility that I haven't seen or spoken to since. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll take these sand seals back, and I guess I'll see you in a couple days. Stay safe, all right?
You too.
Gives a bit of a nod. Sequentially goes to each and every one of you and hugs you, and hugs you as much as you are allowing her to hug you. And
She's probably surprised when Max lets her.
Yay!
It's his begrudging sort of fine. I'll forgive you.
Character development through level up.
Yay!
Yeah.
No, Max has been hugging previously as well.
Yeah.
Still, it's always nice to see.
This time it's someone who he felt like had betrayed him, so
Ooh.
Yeah.
because of those stupid dragon instincts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah. After saying goodbye, she will take up the sand seals and will vanish off into the distance northwest towards Gerudo Fortress, leaving you guys within this oasis and your plants be able to make your way out.
I forget, when did we last have a long rest?
I would
Well,
Well,
consider
we
you-
had like
tower.
multiple days in the hyperbolic time chamber, so you've had a long rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so would have put plants on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's say not that.
Okay.
One plant of vine.
Yes. You go over to the nearest biggest plant, which is probably that palm tree. Place a hand on it and it unravels into a portal heading to
Palm
where?
tree, show me your secrets.
Yeah. So, if my memory is terrible, you guys are heading to Hyrule Castle Town. Where specifically in Hyrule Castle Town are you going?
The great big tree planted next to our house, I think.
Ah,
That could be the. Yeah. Make sure that we can send like message to the castle in case one of the like Impa or anyone else wants to come have a chat. If they are able, we'll be able to stock up on some provisions at the house, and then once everything's concluded, go to Artemark.
just need to remind myself where your house is. I see. There we go.
West of the town, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
here
it's
in the
marked on the
Western
map.
Residential District. But yeah, so heading in, you swiftly move many miles of distance within the span of a few steps, and arrive in Hyrule Castle Town. In this late afternoon, the sounds of the desert breeze and the impending heat are swiftly taken away and replaced by the hustle and bustle of an afternoon in Hyrule Castle Town, in the far more temperate climate. There is something of an overcast overhead. And yeah, it's just people like you get a couple of people who stop and watch as 4 very distinct individuals walk out of a tree, but that's
Isn't our tree on like a courtyard?
I don't think you have like a let me check. I don't think you have like a surrounding courtyard. I think you have like a
Yeah, nobleman.
you do have an open
Sorry,
street.
I thought that like we had two buildings on a plot of land, and I don't know how visible that is to like street level.
Oh yeah, it's like
You
is
did
it
have the option of turning the second building into like an adventurer's guild or something, so I presume it's at least a little open to the street.
yeah.
I mean, there is definitely a connection at the very least, I imagine, but I just don't know how.
That's fair. It's essentially it's like the way I imagine it is in a slightly more spacious area, or a still very populated, more or less open part of the residential district. So you are basically in a kind of townhouse area on like in the less dense part of a major city. So there are still people who kind of walk past your house and everything like that and walk down the same avenue to get where they need to go. It's just that you have a lot of space to work with. But yeah. So, return to Hyrule Castletown. Let's see. But yeah, I imagine as you arrive, the door closest to the tree opens to your home, and you see Maxwell just poke his head out and say, "Oh hey, you're back."
We are just for a short while.
Huh.
Everything good here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been quiet. Mr. Uriel's lessons have been still going on. I'm getting the hang of it, but yeah. Maximilian occasionally joins me, stops by in between being spoken to by Impa and stuff. Yeah.
That sounds good.
But if you're not staying for long, don't worry about it. Yeah,
Do
there
you
was.
by any chance know if Empire's planning on visiting today?
He shakes his head and says, "I don't think so." Yeah, I'm gonna roll something for Maxwell. Just a sec. It's pretty decent. He says, yeah, things have been pretty quiet around here. There's been a little bit of commotion.
Okay.
A little ways north, like in town still, I think, by the western gate. It's yeah, but it's nothing too much. People just saying that a couple of soldiers have been pulled in to get to the barracks. But that's all I really got.
Over by the western gate, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we can send Impa a message and check out. It's like we'll be also like at the house or at the western gate.
Yeah.
Thank you for the heads up.
No worries. I'm gonna get back to reading.
Good luck studying.
Thank you. Take care, and we'll close the door again.
Right. As he closed the door, I kind of look back at Max, kind of like he wanted to say anything to his, lack of a better term, sibling.
I was just thinking, what do I say? I don't really know how the situation is supposed to go.
It's okay. I don't think he does either.
Just gotta kind of do a nod.
Yeah, he reciprocates. It's just yeah.
That is the extent of my knowledge of interactions with brother.
Brother A and brother B and brother.
I mean, given we're clones, that's essentially how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that.
Okay.
But I am curious what's at the western gate now. I have the stone of, like, the sending stone to Impa, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'll send her a message. We've just returned from the Gerudo Desert. We are at the house, but we will be checking out something at the western gate. We heard a bit of commotion.
Imp will respond with, yeah, I heard something as well. Well, I'll meet you there.
Okay. So Impa is going towards the western gate as well. We'll meet up with her there.
Okay.
Curious that she's heard about it too. I wonder what it is.
Yeah. You head along the side streets, and emerge into the main thoroughfare that runs towards the western gate. As you do so, and begin moving towards the western gate, you see that there is a fairly sizable clump of soldiers. They're not in formation or anything, but they seem to be just kind of milling about and talking, but prepared to go somewhere. They're armed with a spear and a sidearm and a shield, and on their backs they have like rucksacks like for the sake of overland travel, and a few of them at the head are on horseback. They seem to be
towards
talking.
the western villages. I think I would like to go to the people on horseback and kind of inquire as to what's going on.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna. So you head to the front of the pack, and there are like about 10 folks on horseback with the
I'm
adornments
going
of.
with in case I need someone scary.
Okay.
In
There.
case my plus 17 persuasion doesn't work.
Yeah. All
Just
them.
have to try the intimidation flavor instead.
Exactly.
So yeah, as you can probably tell from living in Castletown for a while and having been in and around, you can tell that you can identify like the soldiers in their uniform and their armor, and then you have the ones on horseback who have various different markings that denote rank, and one or two of them have standards that they are simply holding and preparing. Others are just at the head. You identify two of them that seem to hold the ranks of captain, and they're just kind of standing and chatting. And as you approach, I'm going to roll a thing for each of them to see if they. I'll run them roll the natural 15 to see whether or not they recognize indications of yourselves. One of them, the one who rolled natural 2, looks over and doesn't really pay you much mind, and just goes back to talking to the other guy.
Literally one of the most identifiable beings in the world, given wings and horns.
Yep.
Yeah. To be fair, you haven't shown yourself in Hyrule Castle town with this so much.
But yeah, so the other guy will like briefly glance over and recognize something about you, but can't quite place a name. But there's a recognition of this seems important, and will just kind of like turn slightly in turn with his horse to be able to address you. The other guy's like, I guess the conversation's over then. Fine.
These
No longer my
captains-
problem.
These captains are the highest ranking officers here.
That you can see, yes.
That I can see. Okay.
Yeah. But
I
yeah.
think I'll nod towards them. Captain.
Greetings.
May I
says-
inquire as to what is going on?
There's a pause as the first captain, who didn't recognize you, is trying to think of a way to diplomatically say, "This is
Fuck off."
military business. What are you doing?" The other one then, after a moment, just rolls his eyes and says, "Well, at this point in time, we're hoping to figure out something of an anomaly. A patrol came back without their clothes.
How many people?
30.
Okay.
They were bearing damage, but nothing that was too lethal. Cuts, bruises, broken bones, but they were able to get back perfectly fine. They were just robbed of practically everything."
Curious.
What did they say happened?
They couldn't tell. As far as they could understand, there was an explosion of some kind of substance that made it hard for them to see and breathe. And then all of them, one by one, were effectively knocked over. And when they woke up, they were groggy, punch drunk, coughing, and nearly naked.
Their armor was taken.
Yes.
Their full uniforms,
Yes.
which means we have 30 Hyrulean soldiers or guards?
Soldiers.
30 Hyrulean soldiers are uniforms unaccounted for.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this should be. We should definitely let Lady Impa know about this.
As you say that, there's a brief moment of like, yeah, that does seem a bit weird, huh? And she's like standing like behind you.
How quickly did I notice that she was there?
Roll for me a perception check.
I mean,
I know
I would
you have a
like to
very
take
high
my
passive,
25,
but
32 then?
you notice you notice before you uttered the sentence, maybe Lady Impa should know about this.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So you notice that like, maybe they shouldn't know about this, and then you turn as if to immediately recognize she is now part of the conversation, and she makes no move to be disappointed or anything. It's like, I'm here, we're talking now, this is how we do things.
If you may have, as you may have heard, 30 soldiers have had their uniforms stolen by a force as of yet unknown and unidentified. May I suggest introducing some sort of checkpoints for anyone who identifies as a Hyrulean soldier?
Maybe a good idea. Captain, and Captain will look down and say, if you could send a runner or something to the town guard, provide them with an up-to-date roster of who is within your employ, so that we can have appropriate checkpoints. We're looking for, the captain just kind of like, the captain nods and will turn and trot off with his horse, and is followed by the other captain to go and find a runner. Impa will then look to the rest of you and say, I'm not sure exactly what that would entail, though.
I don't know exactly, but it sounds like that could be used for any sort of false flag operation.
Or infiltration.
That too.
And
Also,
I'm
good to see you. We have good news and bad news.
Is it news that is ill-advised to be talking about in a public street?
Some of it, yes.
Let's
I'm
head back
actually
to
just
the
gonna
castle.
lean on the new staff he's got and see if she recognizes it.
Let's see.
How
She
well
doesn't
versed is
seem to
she?
recognize it.
Okay.
But yeah, Impa will nod and say, "Okay, well, let's head back to the castle then, and we'll see what we can discuss with this. If you need to tell the royal family or any of the other Sheikah, then it would save some breath."
Yes. There are certainly things that we'll need to talk to them about, including one Lord Draenor.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. And she will walk with you back down the street through the major gate and up to Hyrule Castle. When entering, she'll turn to a servant briefly in order to ask them to go and fetch the other Sheikah, the royal family, and head to the audience chamber within the castle. It all roughly takes about half an hour to an hour to get everything sorted, but eventually, in appropriate time, you manage to find yourself in the presence of the royal family and the Sheikah bodyguards. One thing you do clock rather quickly is that it appears that Marius is not wearing the crown on his head. He's kind of holding it in his hands quite delicately. Much in the sense of like he's holding it as if it was the precious artifact that it would present itself as opposed to wearing it as a king would or holding it under one arm as a lout would. It's basically just like there's an uncertainty in his stride.
I'm
But
trying to figure out, like, this wasn't the case previously, was it?
yes and no. Feel free to give me another active insight check to delve
Sure.
deeper.
Only 16.
Only 16. Okay.
My regular passive.
Yeah. The with this situation in particular, it would appear to you that the Marius, upon being given the crown, had received it in an aspect of turmoil for the kingdom. And despite the fact that initially he presented himself as a bit of a blowhard, it seems the reality of that responsibility may have really hit him. But yeah, it's quite a drastic change from the last time you saw him and spoke to him. He still wore the crown. He still attempted the responsibility of a king, but now he's just kind of holding on to it and still doing his job. But it is very unkingly behavior, but it's not necessarily something that is showing a lack of respect for the position, but more just a lack of desire to take it up.
I understand. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Marius is brought in with Aaliyah, and Rufus is very quickly joined with the rest of the group. Sophia, still in the guise of a handmaiden, is followed in by Nihilus. And yeah, as all are gathered, Impa will turn to the rest of you and say, okay, so do you want us to update you on what's been going on previously here? At least as insofar as whatever knowledge that we have? Or would you like to go first?
We would graciously receive any information that you have, yes.
Okay. Well, admittedly, there is not exactly much to go on. A supply train that was heading towards Sarkoza had been interrupted by rebellion forces, led by Lionel, of all things. Thankfully, someone survived in order to provide the information back to us, but it seems that that force had recently attempted a major attack on Kingswarden and headed north to intercept any aid to Sarkoza. Risha is still in Sarkoza, from what we know, but communications outside of magical means, of which we don't exactly have, make it difficult to really get a grip on what it is that we need to do. Besides that, as you know, as you have discovered for us, 30 men of the Hylian military have been robbed of their equipment and uniforms out in the fields, and in so doing present a notable security risk on top of everything that is transpiring. But besides that, there isn't much of a development. We still don't know exactly what's going on with Midas and Vestal and how Cassandra Summerborn fits into all of this, but I'm sure Lady Risha might be able to provide you with that information if you manage to meet her. But that is the information that we have here in the short time that it has been since we last spoke. So, by all means, if you have good and bad news, please go ahead.
Thank you for your reports. We, as previously reported, have had contact with a enigmatic older man who has been communicating through magic through our dreams. We have found the tower that he resides in, and he was the disguised Lord Draenor. He is healthy. However, he is unable to fulfill any of his functions as befitting his station of Minister of Magic at this time, nor will he'll be able to do so in the foreseeable future.
Impa kind of gives a bit of a nod, as do the other Sheikah. Rufus sits a little bit confused because I don't think it's possible he may never really have met Draenor, probably even less than you might have met Draenor yourself. So Marius just kind of very slowly sits and nods, his gaze shifting between you and the crown that is currently in his lap. And Sophia is the one who speaks up next as she kind of looks over your retinue and notices a discrepancy and says, I'm sorry to interrupt, but you seem to be down a person. Where is Mara?
You can see how Renji's face, while impeccable, usually there is a moment where he realizes that he's kind of lost composure, and then he maintains that for the moment. This is another piece of major bad news.
Mara has been taken by the enemy.
Yes.
There's a distinct pause as like the tone shifts. the Sheikah, you can see there is a bit of a twinge in each of them as they realise, as you provide that piece of information, the royal family themselves have their own different ways in reacting to it. Sophia, a bit more of a realist between the three of them, or a bit more grounded, down to earth, perhaps even pessimistic by comparison. Goes from being fairly on it to taking it back, and shrinks back into herself a little bit and looks down and tries to kind of grasp that sort of information. Marius, he grows even more tired than what he looks, even more sullen, and just kind of keeps his focus on the crown and closes his eyes slightly. And Rufus seems surprised, then angry, and then there's a sense of determination on his face, and says, "What can we do to get her back?"
We have several options. However, to explain these to you, and by I do not mean Your Highness specifically, but the group here collected, we have information about Mara's being that I wish to share, but it is complex, and I would please ask that you withhold judgment until I've said everything about this.
Rufus gives a very determined nod. Sophia gives a slightly more unsure nod. Marius does nothing. The Sheikah share a glance, and Nihilus speaks up and says, "Of course, you may proceed."
I think from that on, Renji, with the help of Hikan and Max and Zayden, will explain how, over the course of many years, Mara has been learning to be, for lack of a better term, human. And how she's been hiding herself from Nazgûl in order to live a life that she chose for herself. Eventually, I will mention that she started out her existence as a minion, a creature created by Nazgûl to act as his will, his weapon, and as we now believe, his soul receptacle. And that brings us to abilities, or our opportunities to save her from this injustice. We are working on other methods to save her, to free her, to liberate her from her current captured state. The details of which I cannot yet reveal. But if that does not work, we have a spell crafted by the Archmage Samaria, which is the name that Lord Draenor is also known by, in order to separate her soul from the sword that Nazgûl wields. It is, in essence, a magical spell that robs someone, or robs, someone's soul from their body. And as such, this is, by great exception, the only time where we would feel comfortable using such magic.
When you say that, Matcha says, hopefully plan A works.
Yes, again, we are working on that, but that is not, as far as I can say, available for discussion. Also because Renji is completely bullshitting here because he has no idea what Max is on.
And Max isn't going to elaborate in this room.
That's fine.
So if I need a deception check, here you've got one.
After that, Max will just say, I'll make it work.
There's a period of silence after you tell this, and there's each individual in the room is contemplating what all of this means. There's Sophia says, so she wasn't
The person
She
you
was
know.
Mara. That's all you need to know.
Yes.
Impa will kind of nod along a bit and say, trying to think of security concerns in and around the castle.
I do not know the range or the reach of Nazgûl's capabilities. If he is able to access her mind. But that is, in my opinion, a reasonable concern.
It is
As
entirely
someone
possible.
who's been in a situation like hers before, he doesn't see her as a person. He probably won't ask questions.
It's entirely possible that this is part of the reason why he saw someone like Zelish as being useful, despite the in addition to the raw arcane power that Zelish had, he also had 200 years of experience being a Sheikah bodyguard and being the leader of our people. He would have had the most secrets of Hyrule, the Sheikah, everyone.
I would hope we can rely on his hubris and his pride to not pry into the mind of Mara. But I would not presume that he does so.
It's better to assume that he might. But, if I remember the records correctly, he can at the very least not teleport directly into the castle. Part of Zelish's security capabilities is being able to create a selective forbiddance spell. It's a very interesting mechanic, but anyone who has not on a ever-changing security list is incapable of getting through. They would have to teleport outside the castle and go through the walls.
Who has access to that list?
Zelish did, but he's dead now.
And after him?
Impuv kind of shakes her head and says, it was not written down, it was entirely mental. He kept it entirely to himself.
And how long will this protection last?
Well, it should more or less be permanent unless something great and powerful was able to dispel it. But in that same sense, it just means that whoever was on the list by the time that he died is now, well, the only people who can bamf in or out. Anyone after all of us, after we all pass away of natural causes, we hope, will just mean that teleportation magic becomes entirely unfeasible within the grounds of the castle.
I wouldn't rely on that.
We are dealing with great and powerful mages.
And Zelish is being mind controlled, kind of.
Yeah. Rufus just kind of is nodding along a bit. It says, well, I don't know too much about everything that's going on. But if you say you can do it, then I believe you. I suppose I am worried slightly whether or not what we have will be enough. You mentioned that Draenor's not coming back.
Yes.
He gave me his stick.
I would recommend that either you hire Uriel as an interim manager or ministerial consultant or whatever term he wishes to put on it, or to make him the minister directly. He is the most powerful mage outside of present company. He knows much more about practical magic than any of us here. The kingdom needs a strong authority on magic, especially now.
Impa says, well, we tried, and he keeps turning down the position, and sadly, he is the only wizard that we know.
I'll have a talk with him. I can be very persuasive.
Well, if you say so. In the meantime, we are running short on political nobility, as it were. We still don't have a new Lord of Education. Whitestone is back to work, but is not making too many specific moves. I think he's still quite down about his son. And without Draenor, we essentially have no one who is an authority on magic, but yeah.
Have there been any talks with leaders of the temples in regards to maybe finding a way to restore the spirit of Lord Simeon?
It is slow progress. They think they know how to do it, but they worry that there is not enough power among them in order to provide And Sophia says, we have been offering to provide as much resources as they might require. But that still might not be enough. At least from what they say.
All right. I don't believe I have any direct ideas for any succession questions or issues.
I think it would be pertinent to bring up the stuff that Samaria said about assistance, both gaining allies and what they might be able to provide.
Yes.
And pulling Nosgridah somewhere out of the Plane of Lament as part of the plan.
Yes. Samaria, Lord Draenor, mentioned that the royal family might have an artifact that could keep Nosgridah from pulling any of our forces into the Plane of Lament, to keep him here and keep him away from his source of power. He specifically mentioned that this is not the Master Sword.
Okay. And they give a slow nod as everyone kind of thinks on it. And Rufus perks up.
We have discussed this and come to the conclusion that attempting to access that or the Triforce would be counterproductive.
There's an uncomfortable silence as the Triforce is brought up. But thankfully, it's broken by Rufus, who was focused on the key object of the discussion. He says, "Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. A year or so ago, Father told me about it, showed it to me." And there's like a somewhat look of disbelief from Sophia over the, like, on the opposite side. It's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, Father said that we are a very storied family, and there are a lot of things, objects and people and legends that are all part of our heritage and how we came about things, and a number of them are supposedly quite magical and powerful, and not necessarily on the same level as the Triforce, but it's still quite strong. And the thing I think you're talking about probably has the second most, perhaps maybe it's the closest thing that we have to a god object that I can think of that would be more than freely available. I think so.
I have an idea.
Max just under his breath repeats the term god object.
The nihilist looks over and says, "I know the situation is dire, and we do wish to help out, but Your Majesty, are you sure you wish to? We don't even know if it still works." And Rufus says, "I mean, it's worth a try. Maybe. Impa, please help me. I'll be back in a moment." And he sprints off without even giving a damn as to whether or not Impa's following him, and she just sighs and jogs after him.
Renji has no idea what he's talking about. I might have an inkling, but I could very well be wrong.
Max looks at Randy and goes, "Oh good, I'm not the only one who's confused."
Sophia
lean in, like, Rufus is, as usual, very excitable. I do not believe he would lie about something like this, but it does sound fanciful. I do not dismiss this out of hand, because I know what Samaria has meant, what Samaria has said. But we'll have to see.
So, Sophia will kind of like, while everyone waits, looks over and says, "Do you really think you can get Mara back?"
I
We are
have
going to do our very best,
It's just like I have to.
Princess Ophitia. We would not bring this up if we did not believe we had a chance.
Very well. I'll hold you to that.
She has become one of our closest allies and companions. And there's a little bit of a break in Renji's voice there.
After about 15 minutes, the door opens again, and Rufus is leading Impa, who's carrying a fairly sizable box, into the room, and he instructs her to put it down. It's clearly too large for him to carry himself, but he looks over and says, "Okay, this is it. I definitely think this is it." And he unhitches the latch and steps to the side as he pulls it open. And inside, you see, almost made from solid gold, is this simple yet elegant item with little inlays and carvings that suggest a very simplistic design of a bird in flight, with few but pristine strings that line from one end of the item to the other. This beautiful harp sits before you. It looks almost surreal in how valuable and pristine it is. And Rufus looks over and says, "Father said that at one point this is the..." I say at one point. It is the oldest heirloom that we have. We had it even before our family ever became royalty. It has an intrinsic physical connection to the goddess Hylia. He said that it was magical, and I believe it. But he also said something about there needing to be some kind of test of worthiness in order to wield it, but none of us have really played it for millennia. It's been in a display box since that time, so we just... I don't think any of us have really learned how to play. Do you, like, looks over to Sophia, do you play? And Sophia shakes her head and is like, I never learned an instrument.
What?
She's
a princess. That's preposterous. She must know some.
I didn't have the time for I pretended. Like, it's like she pretended to learn. It's a good deception, but after a while, chopsticks after 5 billion times is not exactly the best way to demonstrate learning.
I am going to give Nihilus a look of disappointment.
I'm gonna look at Reggie and just ask, could you play it?
I play the flute.
Could you
Okay,
try?
I'll play it.
I'm asking if you want a magic bard instrument.
I would like a magic bard instrument though, but also I have a lot of stuff already.
Uh-huh.
I legitimately have had from level 1 proficiency with the harp.
This is, and I kid you not, precisely the reason why I included this item in this game.
Nice.
Someone's gonna get to play with the magic top.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. If I'm allowed to. I'll ask permission first.
Like, as a Sheikah and even like Sophitia are just kind of like about to say, "Wow, we need to discuss this." Rufus is like, "Go ahead, please give it a try. I'd love to hear it."
I'll try playing the Nocturne of Shadow.
Okay.
It would be one of the ones that I would learn. Just
Yep, that makes sense.
Give for me a wisdom saving throw.
I'm good at those. What is that? I was on the wrong thing. 22.
Okay. So you pick up the harp. It is light, and as you put it into position to play, it is comfortable. You place a fingertip on one of the strings, and even as you barely touch it, there is a vibration that feels ethereal down to your soul. As you pluck the string and it plays a note, there is a sudden silence around you, and you specifically. There's a kind of weight that happens. That you feel grounded, but also incapable of moving too much. And then a voice enters from all directions and permeates through the entirety of you. And it says, "Who is it that plays my string?"
My name's Hikan. I'm a Sheikah. And that's, yeah. I haven't had the harp talk to me before.
Very rarely is it that these sorts of things come about. So, Hikan Sio of the Sheikah, you have entered a very exclusive collective. In fact, I dare say even on the realm of the divine am I surprised. You are neither the hero of legend nor possessing the blood of, well, myself.
No,
What
I
are
am
your
not.
intentions?
Khan thinks about it for a moment, and then says to save the lands and my friend.
Pause. And she says, "I see. That is a noble goal indeed, one that would befit the same pattern as to those who have previously played my strings. But I hope that you understand that I must test the veracity of that. I cannot provide...
I was going to say, I'm really bad at tests.
It is a test I am sure that you will be capable of passing nonetheless, but it cannot be attempted alone. My connection to those around us, it requires understanding. Power needs to be tempered by wisdom and used with courage. Wisdom is an important part of all of this. So I need to ask if you and your companions that you hold so dear, if you are able to demonstrate all that you have learned up to this point, then I will be more than happy to lend you my power. But that is a decision that needs to be made with all of you together as a unit, and any uncertainty will provide difficulty. So please, as I release you from my hold, I need you to return me to the box and inform your friends with truth.
Okay.
And you are brought back into the realm of your friends and allies and the prime material. You have only, for everyone else, you've seen Hikan play one note and listen to it for a good 30 seconds or so. It sounds great. It sounds perfect, as far as a musical instrument note can be considered.
There's boundless potential.
Yeah, but it did get a little bit worrying as he just kind of stood there and didn't move for a fair amount of time before eventually blinking.
Yeah, imagine during that time, Max is like walking up to him, and as he comes like back into reality, Max is just waving a hand in front of his face.
Hello, Max. Excuse me, I gotta put this back in the box. The harp told me to. Because we
okay.
gotta do a test.
Right. Wait, what's that?
Okay.
Yeah, in order to wield its power, something power tempered by courage and wielded. No, that's not right. Hold on. And then Hikan eventually, before long, gets through the
wisdom, courage.
Gets through the proper aspect of what the harp said.
Okay.
It's not every day a harp talks to you.
It's
No,
not every
that's
day.
fair.
It's not every day God knocks on your brain and says that you're a bad enough dude to play the harp.
Pretty much.
I think in this case it's good enough, dude.
No, I know what I said.
Okay.
But yeah, Hikan will repeat, eventually verbatim what the harp said, because I was told to do it in truth. So just takes a moment to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do we do that?
I guess everyone's accepts it, and then I can put my hand on the harp again and see if it'll talk and tell it yes.
Good to me. I'm ready.
Yeah, sure, cool, whatever.
Yep.
All right, cool. I put my hand back on the harp and go, hey, I say out loud to the room, hey, they said that they're all cool with it.
Okay. Let me just prepare
Yeah,
a
we'll
thing
ride or
here.
die for this harp.
He did warn that hesitation or whatever will make it harder, so we'll just like, yeah, go, ready.
Go, 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 go,
Max
go.
is like, I have already decided that I will do whatever the fuck I have to for this shit. Like, I don't need to think.
Alright. I just need to get a couple of character sheets open quick.
Oh shit, we're going to fight a harp.
Or whatever the harp summons.
No, it's just the harp itself.
And I don't know how long this fight will go on for, so I apologize if it needs to take a break in the middle of it, but
If so, it'll be just, episode 1 28 will be a part 2.
Yeah. That's the one I need. Okay.
Oh no, if I knew we were fighting a harp today, I would have cast Foresight on Hikan. Oh well.
Fine.
How dare.
But yeah. So, as you place your hand back on the harp and you declare that your intent is to carry on and like to do this test, the four of you experience a blinding flash of light. As the light clears, you are standing in what appears to be a pristine marble room with mosaic tiles that trim along the walls on either side of you. Behind you is a similar marble wall, and in front of you is this big wall of mercurial sort of substance. It's like this liquid metal that just waves before you.
What color?
So it's mercury, so it's like silverish sort of.
Silvery, okay.
Yeah. And then the same voice.
Don't touch that, that's poison.
The same voice echoes out to each of you and says, "As I have told your friend here, in order to wield my power, I must attest to see what you have learned over this time. So please, when you are ready," and then as the voice says this, two shadowy figures emerge from the ground. One appears to be a Garuda woman wielding a staff that has hanging from the crook a fiery bat, and next to them is a slender, shadowy, demonic figure. And I would like everybody to roll initiative.
Okay.
Well, I did just also think, well, if she says when you're ready, then I could take the time to cast Foresight.
Boss rush. As the loading screen and texts finish, the greatest test of strength pops up on the below the screen.
Since I believe Mass wasn't here for this, we just go through that.
That was one of the first foes we fought.
Right, yeah.
All enemies are going to operate on the same what's the word? On the same turn order for the sake of simplicity.
Okay. Boss rush! Oh no!
Yay!
Okay. So, let's do this descending order. Okay, Renji, you're up first, followed by Hikan.
Right, I realize I haven't updated my stuff. I will go for the simple startup. Move over here, and I will attack this cult fanatic twice.
Okay.
An 18 to hit
That's a hit.
with sneak attack damage.
Mm-hmm.
For 31.
Nice.
And second attack, 16.
Okay. Let's see. Need to get a thing up again. I apologize. Yeah. So 16 is enough to hit as well. So you.
So that is 16 points of damage extra.
Yes. So you rush forward, and immediately aspiration is ignited. You cut twice, and the Garuda woman topples backwards and dissipates into shadow. As she dissipates, the wall of mercury begins to part, and behind it is another section of flooring that goes up to a different wall, and in front of it appears to be two large wolf-like creatures and a bokoblin wielding magical implements. So I'll mark them as defeated. And then, yeah. Anything else you want to do or can do on your turn?
I'm trying to figure out... This is all like bright as day, like light area,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. With a passive stealth of 24, how likely is it that I can use the hide action as a bonus action? Also, with all of the magic that I wield.
I mean, in most instances, I don't know, because it is as magical as you are standing in an open room. You're basically standing in an empty warehouse by comparison.
Yep, that's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
I was hoping to bullshit something, but no. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Wait, hold on. Was that as an action? No, as a bonus action was this? Dash disengage. Okay, no, not dodge. Never mind. That's my turn.
You
Okay. Hikan.
still have movement left if you wanted to move anywhere else.
Yeah.
I am trying to figure out where to best. Yeah, let's go here.
Okay. Sweet. So Hikan, you're up with Zayden afterwards.
Do I want to use my cool new stuff, or do I want to go forward and punch things? I don't want to use my cool new stuff. So let me read that within 10 feet. So if I go here, 5, 10. Excellent. So I'm going to run up next to the bokoblin.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 key points to activate arms and visage of the astral, arms, visage, and body of the astral self.
Nice.
So that would leave me with 13. And since that happens, nope, that's the wrong one. Is it body? The spectral. Oh no, it is this one. So I need all 3 of them to make a dexterity saving throw or take 6 force damage, and half as much. Or no, just not half as much.
Okay, so it's a 14 on the half of the spell speaker, and then for the Wolfos, we have a nat 1 and a 21.
21 passes.
Okay.
And then I'm going to punch the spell speaker twice.
Okay.
19 for 14.
Yep.
And 29 for 11 more.
Okay. With those 2 decisive strikes, after being stumbled by the activation of your astral self, you strike twice and decisively, and that sends the bokoblin spell speaker reeling before getting to about here before losing corporeality and dissipating into nothingness.
Okay. I will go ahead and move there to entice the wolves to attack me, and that'll be my turn.
Okay. Then we have Zayden with Max afterwards.
I will target the wolves with a tidal wave of magic.
Okay.
And bang across the back. I try.
Sounds good. Let's see. So, dex saves.
Here, so it doesn't touch Hikan.
There's a fail on 1. And a fail and a both of them fail.
Both of them take 17 bludgeoning damage or are knocked prone.
Okay. The torrent of water, you're able to knock these immense canine creatures off of their feet, and they are knocked to the ground, gravely wounded. Yeah.
I'm done.
Cool.
I'll move forward. How far can I go? It's been so long since I've used Roll20, I keep getting my shortcuts mixed up.
It's fine.
Go to here.
Okay. Awesome. Then, is that everything you want to do on your turn?
Yes.
Okay. Then it's up to Max.
Get him! Crit for
Get him!
31 damage. 44 damage. Max just flying past, clocks this guy in the jaw, and keeps going.
Okay. Yep, that's absolutely fine. It is disintegrated in a hail of
That was
sparks.
Amazing.
It's like, I don't know you, but bye.
45 damage on a cantrip.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
5 of that damage is just from being a dragon sorcerer.
Yep.
Hey, but that's me done.
Okay. So, as you destroy that shadow demon, the next mercury wall dissipates, and behind it is the immense mechanical form of a humanoid entity that you had once tangled with in the Artemark dungeon.
Oh no, the one that explodes?
No,
No, the one that petrified Show.
Oh right, that was worse.
Oh no, that's much worse.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so while...
Yeah, I got back to my feet pretty quickly, but Sho, well, he was so petrified he left the campaign. We miss you, Rogers.
So the Wolfos, they will struggle to their feet, and will take the bait and attack Hikan and probably fail. So one of them will try and bite.
With it. A 22 is a hit.
Okay. So give for me a strength saving throw. You take 8 piercing damage, reduced by any resistances or any other things you might have on hand.
I'll make a wisdom saving throw instead because I have my arms out.
Nice.
And I can use wisdom in place of strength.
That's cool.
Oh,
So
that
it's
is
23.
amazing.
Okay, you are impossible. Like they bite onto the astral arm, and you just move it and bap it away. The next one will try the same thing, but gets an 18, which I don't think is a hit. And you're able to parry that particular bite. In the meantime, as a construct, let's see. Mechaniclos, where are you? There you are. So the Mechaniclos will stamp forwards. Thum, 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 thum. In fact, it can't actually reach Hikan from this spot, so it's going to... what's its movement? 20 feet. Oh, it can't even get that far, so it has to go here. But at the end of its turn... oh, Lord. Let's see. 10 feet away from it, you say? Okay. So as it maneuvers forward, the vents and parts of its exposed mechanisms belch out this sickening light grey-green dust, and will cause a petrifying cloud around its position. So I'm going to have to do a con save for this poor Wolfos.
Wait, it's attacking the Wolfos?
It has the Mechaniclos has no choice in the matter. It basically will.
It has an
At
aura
the
of
end of
petrify.
its turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has been a bit.
Basically, we want to kite it behind us and have it petrify everything.
Yep.
I
So
think we're just going to clear everything instead.
that Wolfos is now
That would be
restrained.
faster, but it'd be funny.
If it somehow survives its next strike, or if it somehow survives into the next turn, it'll have to make another save, and if it fails that one, it turns to stone. But that will be their turns. It goes back to Renji with Hikan afterwards.
Alright, I will move over here. And get a super advantage on this one. That's a 28 to hit.
That
With
hits.
sneak attack damage is 28.
Yeah. You tumble through and manage, and as you get into an advantageous position, you slice at this Wolfos and it is immediately destroyed.
Okay, let's see. We had 20 feet of movement. My speed is now... I believe it is now 40 because of...
Wow.
When I take attack action on my turn, walking speed increased by 10 feet. I don't need to flourish for that to happen. But with 10, 20, I will dash. Actually, I will dash here, go here, attack this one.
Okay.
Or will I, should I attack this one?
I mean, I think the Wolfos have less HP than Mechanicos.
Yeah, that's true. Then let's go for the Wolfos with another 26, and this is only it's 10 points of damage.
That's okay. With a 26 and that number of damage, you are also able to. You're attacking the Wolfos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You are able to cut this one to ribbons as well, and it dissipates into a cloud.
I will use Slashing Flourish.
Okay.
And with Slashing Flourish, 1 Bardic Inspiration equal 1d8 on the Mechaniclos as well.
Okay.
3 points.
All right. As you destroy that Wolfos, the next Mercury wall falls, and behind it is the shadowy impression of a mass of green flabby flesh and long tentacles and a wide toothy maw, which is standing guard over a prim and proper gentleman wielding a sword and a pistol and long dark curly hair under a tricorner hat.
Fricking him!
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Are you prepared to taste Eldritch Blast again?
I'm gonna get him.
Oh dear.
I wonder if Hylia has the Harvester's number.
This guy is not prepared. I'm gonna get him.
I will use the final movement that I have to step away from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I will go Let's see, I will go here. He does have an attack of opportunity, I believe, because I did not necessarily with where is it? Panache.
Yeah, you didn't attack him, you just did some extra damage.
Yeah. If you make a melee attack against a creature, yeah, but I didn't.
Okay,
So he can use an attack of opportunity against me.
got it. Okay. So we'll try and swing and slice, but an 11 does
Nope.
nothing. Okay. So with that done, it's Hikan with Zayden afterwards.
Okay, Hikan will go to there. I'm just calculating. So that's 15 feet of movement. Fuck it. This is. I'll activate the Eldritch Claw Tattoo for a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to attack this guy twice. So we have one attack, 27 for 14.
That hits.
And then another attack, 20 for another 14. Plus, because of Body of the Astral Self, I can add another roll of my martial arts die to one of my damages once per turn.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Oh, that's because that's measure's still up. So that's a D8, so that's 21. And I want to add insult to injury and trip him.
Yay.
That's 23 damage on this one attack, plus the 14 from the last attack.
Okay. So you like metal plates begin to dent irreparably as you strike at him. The force of the blow it begins to stagger him. Does he topple? Yes, he does.
Oh, he really topples.
Eat
Yeah.
shit, robot.
Okay. And he's already taken an attack of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just go right
Don't
there.
don't get too close.
I'll just go right there.
That might be too close.
Is it a dex save?
I think so.
I'll be fine.
I do like how this is just like, oh yeah, I don't care. Go ahead.
What's
Yeah, it is. So you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll be
what's the
fine.
blast radius on this thing? Yes.
Also, blast radius, don't worry.
I'm calling it a strike, and you better not be there. If you're there, it's your fault.
Yeah.
Be there or be square.
Okay. Is that everything you can do on your turn?
Bonus action, Eldritch Claw Tattoo, movement action, yep.
Okay. Then we got Zayden with Max afterwards.
Yeah, Sidon will move closer, but not too much closer, to over here. Leave that guy on the floor over there. And I recall a thing about this big green guy, which I can use this for. I will cast Elemental Bane to try and make him no longer resistant to lightning.
He's gonna be so dead.
Okay. Con save, you say?
Probably have good con though, but good try.
26.
Ah, well. I don't think it does anything if he passes.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think it has to fight if it passes.
Oh well.
Would have one of you has silvery barbs? Do you have silvery
I
barbs?
do. Yes, thank you.
I thought it cut in before it then is immediately silvery barbs. Alright,
For gore.
let's see if he does any better or worse. 12. He fails.
Yes.
Who do you give advantage
I
to?
will
I'll give
advantage
advantage
to Max.
to Max.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna need advantage. Oh, I actually I might if one of
In the
them
next
survives.
minute,
So yeah, I'll
believe-
take advantage.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it takes
there
an
you go.
extra 2d6 damage and is no longer resistant to lightning.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So that was Zaiden's go. Unless there's anything else you can do.
I will. I should actually use the bonus action to put Shillelagh on my stick just in case.
Fair enough. Then we go to Max.
Okay, so Max is like, right. This needs to be a long run forward. I'm gonna need more speed. So as he's flying, he gets to here. Gonna activate Blue Draconic Transformation. And do Big Cone.
Okay.
Alright, and the
I mean,
cone
that-
is...
That should
out.
miss a con.
Cone.
Got
I mean,
it.
if the cone is
It's fine.
if the edge is this.
You can't determine the width of your cone.
No, but like you can say like
He's fine.
It's fine.
It's all
Yeah.
good. It's all good.
Like we
Okay.
said, if you're fine, don't worry about it.
So let's see. So Fairwind gets a 17, which is a fail.
It takes the 38.
And the Froghemoth gets a 3.
It takes the 38 and I think the extra damage from...
8
6.
Yeah.
Okay.
46.
And I'm going to use the rest of that new movement speed I got. It goes up
Mhm.
to 60.
Yep.
To use that advantage and get a 20 to punch this guy in the face.
Nice. So
Fuck
with
this guy.
with a colossal show of arcane force, this entire area is bathed in lightning, and as it dissipates, even while it still crackles, you just appear in front of the simulacrum of Richard Fairwind and land the most victorious right hook straight to the jaw. Or would you prefer an uppercut?
I think a right hook is more appropriate for the way Max is flying at him right now.
Fair enough. So yeah, you land the right hook. Boom!
Just all that straightforward momentum.
Topples like a rag doll, and vanishes into smoke.
no, I couldn't Eldritch Blast him.
Rip.
What a shame.
Max had dibs.
Revenge. But yeah, let's see. I need to just sorting through my friggin' folders here. Give me a sec. Because this next page has a lot of people in it.
Oh. I mean, we still have 2 waves up, technically.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
And
We
that
got this.
one-
Are we really going to guide the mechanic loss?
Maybe.
Okay,
I'll turn around and deal with it if I can be bothered.
fair.
Okay. So, with that all said and done, we move on to the enemy's turns. Behind the Froghemoth, the next Mercury wall fades away, and behind it you see 5 individuals that you remember that you have battled upon a snowy mountain top. And then, so, the Mechanicloss.
Going like, who are these guys?
So the Mechanicloss pushes itself to its feet. It will use the remaining 10 feet of movement to get here. As it tries to trudge over, it will in fact use dash action to move here, and then it will end its turn. Does it recharge its exhaust?
Mechaniclass says, I'm going to be a problem.
It does. So next time, it may prove a problem if you don't get out of its melee. But that's all it can do at the moment. The Froggymoth, in the meantime, I can close Fairwind's sheet here because he's gone now. He's dead.
Forget.
Froggymoth. So it can make 2 attacks with its tentacles.
Isn't it slowed because it got hit by lightning?
Oh yeah.
Movement flow.
Quote unquote slowed.
Yeah, you are correct. It has shock susceptibility, so it can only do 1.
Forget.
So it's going to it's going to attack the thing that had dealt it the most damage. It's going to attempt to tentacle slap Max. 16 doesn't hit though, I imagine.
My AC is 16.
Oh, so you take 19 bludgeoning damage.
I keep Dragon Ball.
Nice. And you are grappled. So your draconic form is wrapped up into this slimy tentacle as it holds you there. But yes, that'll be the Froggymoth's turn. A lot to get through on these guys. So first off, we'll start with the easy one, Maslow, the rogue. Maslow will go into a low run. Will bonus action dash to get behind Hikan, and will slice with the short sword.
Go for it.
Miss. Then we have Artemis Gaul, who is, as you remember, something of a wizard. He's going to fling a second level magic missile in your directions. Everyone takes a d4 plus 1 point of damage. It's not a lot, but he at least wants to make sure that he tags somebody. So, Max, you take 3. Zayden, you take 5. Hikan, you take 2. And Renji, you take 5.
I can't fail the concentration check, so I'm not gonna roll it.
That's fine. Okay. Then next up it's Jorgen, the Rivazora barbarian, who as a bonus action will fly into a rage and will use his movement to get here to try and slice at Max with his Morningstar. 18 does hit, so that's 9 points of piercing. Actually, no, scratch that. It's 11 points of piercing because he is raging. But that'll be all he does. Is all he wrote. Bartholomew, the cleric, is going to cast a shield of faith upon Arthur Grastel, and Grastel himself is going to let's see. He is going to... He's going to cast his own spell on himself, and he begins to form an icy, cold armor around himself in addition to the Shield of Faith, and he's going to use his movement to get here. And then that will be everybody. Back to the top. Renji with Hikan afterwards.
Yep. Okay. Moving over here, I will attack this guy at least once.
Mm-hmm.
24 with sneak attack damage.
24 is a hit.
34 points of damage.
Like a delicate dance, you move around the thing and identifying immediately key components, and before long it fails to function anymore and collapses.
Okay. Then move over here. Attack this guy. That is, I believe, a natural 20.
That is a natural 20.
So, 10 plus 26 is 36 points of damage.
Nice.
And none of these are undead, right?
No.
Okay.
You cut through, and much like before, much like how it was more or less back at the manor, you easily dispatch Maslow the Rogue.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. It is not
11.
36.
Okay.
It's
11.
11.
Okay, so unlike last time, you do not easily dispatch Maslow the Rogue.
I'm so sorry.
But...
I misread that.
But that's fine. That's okay. You do cut a decisive blow into the back of him.
I will want to use Bardic Inspiration to do defensive flourish here. For an extra amount of damage of 1. My armor class is now 23.
Okay. Unfortunately, that is still not enough to take out Maslow, but
That's fair.
is still tallied as appropriate. Awesome. Are you all done with your turn?
I believe so.
Okay. Then we go on to Hikan with Zayden afterwards.
Alright, Hikan's going to use super advantage and punch the guy next to him.
You got Sheikah, Sheikah
Yep,
accuracy.
I
Yay!
traded check for it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
about pastries.
use that free martial arts die bonus on this one. So that's 16, 19 more points of damage.
Seeing the advantage that has been provided to you by Renji, you immediately finish the job and destroy Maslow.
Excellent. And then Hikan jumps from here to calling out to Max to grab his hand and do a little twirly-do as I bait and switch because Max is getting the shit kicked out of him.
No, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's free. I can just do this.
Yeah.
So it's 3 extra AC for you.
Yay!
Nice.
And then I will
Swap
move
places.
Yeah, you can swap places.
He's
I'm not
place
planning
going
on
to
it.
his grappled.
Is willing
You
and
can-
isn't incapacitated,
Incapacitated.
so you should be able to do it.
Yeah.
But also, I have a thing I want to do, so...
Okay. Is there anyone that you're doing it to?
This guy.
Okay, cool. Because I wanted to keep going over there
That's
to
fine.
flank with my good buddy Max for another.
I mean, I might be able to make use of that if I kill this guy on my next attack.
Yeah. So that is 17 damage of all force to the barbarian River Zora.
Nice.
And then he's an HP tank. So I will flurry of blows. For a natural 20 for 27.
Nice.
Very good.
I've used 2 of those. Oh, I know what I want to do on top of this one then. I'm going to use Distracting Strike. So that's 5 plus another d8. So that is 13 more points of damage. And it's a strength saving throw?
Sure.
Oh, nope, this one isn't a strength saving throw. It's just the next attack on him has advantage.
Okay. Well, you might not
I
need to
don't know.
worry about that because the onslaught of damage that you were provided as you sailed overhead and landed gracefully behind him is enough to utterly obliterate this barbarian.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I will return my roll to normal and use my last unarmed strike on the cleric next to me.
Okay.
Does a 14 hit?
Sadly not.
Okay. Then that is, I'll stay there, and that is turn.
Okay. So then we have Zayden, who is then immediately followed by Max. So Zayden, what's up?
May I go after Max this turn?
Sure. Max, off you go, friend.
Alright. while being grabbed by this guy,
Mhm.
and as it's like opening his mouth to try and eat him, Max opens his own mouth in response, and just blasts a shit ton of lightning down its mouth, and then like drags it across to try and like get these guys as well.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really cool. I'm imagining Godzilla's like.
That's exactly where I
breath.
went.
Yeah, basically that. Dex saves for 36.
Okay. I will like, even though the Froghemoth has still a meager +1, I'll
I
still
don't
do
think
it
it
at
can
disadvantage. Yeah, it can't pass, but I'm still doing a disadvantage because you are point blanking it. So
Yeah.
16.
I could have passed if it got a 20.
Could have
So it
passed, but no. So that's a total of 44 for the Froghemoth, which is enough after constant
You can just
assaults
see
and battery.
the
Just
lightning burning through it.
yeah,
Oh.
breaks
Like a
apart
lightning
and catches
laser.
the other two.
Yeah.
So, Froghemoth
And then
is
biggest two.
down. Artemis. Artemis is going to do his deck save. He should have blade songed.
Well, that's his fault, isn't it?
He gets a
Gets
21 though, so he does pass.
That's fair.
Good for him.
Yeah,
He's gonna regret that.
It's admirable.
yeah. And then deck save for Bartholomew the cleric, which is 17, which is not a pass. That is enough damage to completely obliterate the cleric, which then removes the Shield of Faith from Grastel.
Well, and then movement and action.
Yep.
Okay. Guess what?
Yay!
28 to 23 lightning damage. Just punch him in the face.
Immediate
amazing.
destruction. You strike out at him. I don't even think if he had shield he could do anything with it. He should have used absorb elements. Oh well, live and learn. Except for him, he just immediately topples under the weight of physical force and violence. Despite the
And
fact that
lightning.
he is a blade singer, he's not used to this form of strength. And is immediately destroyed,
Damn
leaving Grastel all by himself. As you have done that, we will get to Zaiden's turn in a second. The next Mercurial Wall, and the last one for this session, because we are coming up to time, falls away, revealing a trio of hags. The one in the center being the very familiar form of Zilla Casteroi, the
I'm gonna
Twilight
point at
Lord.
them and then point at the fact that Dragon Transformation is still on and say, you can't counterspell this anymore.
Is the area fully lit? Because I've got obviously limited view.
It is. It's just I haven't put daylight mode on it because I didn't know how well it would interact with the walls and stuff in regards to line of sight. So it is fully lit. It's just I haven't. The setting is wonky.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, Zaiden, it is your go.
Let me move forward so I can see these ladies and decide what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to remind myself of what the distance from counterspell is, because I have very long range spells.
60
It's
feet.
60 feet.
Yep.
Okay, where is 60 feet from them? I stand about here. They can't counterspell me. That'll be good.
Okay.
And I am going to cast somewhere here behind them so it doesn't hit max. Dawn!
Okay.
And just move my thing closer so I can actually draw the box.
Yeah. Each case must make a Constitution saving throw and 14 damage otherwise. Okay. While you draw your box, we'll deal with these folks in turn. Con save. The not unnamed hags fail and fail. As for Zilla herself, fail. All of them fail.
Wonderful.
Then I can move closer to here. So they all take 15 radiant damage.
Okay.
Actually, I will put it here so that Hikan has a route into attack.
Nice.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So, with that done, it is in fact their turn. Save throw when it ends its turn in the center.
Wait, why didn't Poseidon have his turn?
Titan had his turn after Max because he held his turn.
Figured Max would
yes, okay.
deal with all of that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Is that possible to put on the turn order?
It would be. I don't know whether or not after the delay that means that Zidane is now forever after Max. I don't think so. I think it just resets.
Just do it the
afterwards.
one-off thing.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I think you do that in D&D. Always have.
Yeah. I've never, of all the things in D&D or any other
How's
setting.
roll it works?
Yeah, how's it works. Cool. Let's see. So, it then falls onto the enemy's turn. I think it goes without saying that our coven here is going to maneuver themselves out of the cylinder of sunlight and spread out slightly.
I won't save them.
Perhaps not, but they will certainly try. The one closest to everybody in the group is going to attempt to utilize. Is going to attempt to use. Oh no! There's no actual things in any of these things. That's unfortunate. Yeah, there's like
for you.
there's the stat blocks themselves don't have anything in them, so they have like numbers and stuff, but the spells that are in their bits don't like have actual like mechanic stuff that's been put onto their sheets, so it's just blank. But
Yeah, spells are in the
that is
pre-made ones.
easily fixable. So this hag is going to try and countermand the use of Dawn by pointing a finger and firing a lightning bolt at Zidane.
Hey, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Going to do it at level 5. The save on that one is significantly higher than DC 11, I would think.
I don't know. It says 11.
Let's see. Wow, apparently it isn't. Apparently green hags are just not great in terms of save. So yeah, it is a DC 11.
Okay.
Good luck, I guess. Yeah, so that'll be a dex save from Zidane if possible, please.
If you fail that, that's a skill issue.
16.
See?
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. You take half damage. Yeah. The other green hag is going to attempt something a bit more harsh. It's going to point a finger at Hikan, and will in turn try and pierce into your mind,
Oh no!
filling it with harmful, nightmarish nonsense. With a phantasmal
Phantasmal killer. Wisdom saving throw. You fool! I'm good at those. 21.
That's fine.
I would have had the nat 1 to fail.
Yeah. So you do not fail. So successful save the spell. So it does, I think. I must make a wisdom save. If I fail to save, the target becomes frightened for the duration. You pass, or you don't. Then each turn to pull the spell ends. Time. Oh, okay. So the spell doesn't take hold anyway, so you don't take any damage.
All right.
Cool. Then it is Zilla's go. Do you have block stuff in your thing? For like one. Oh, you have one. That's good. Zilla's going to raise a finger and point it at Max, who is currently skyward.
Quick, get Max a sword.
As you are 5 feet from the floor, below you, an earthen hand rises up to try and grasp at you. I'm going to need a DC 15 Dex Strength saving throw as it tries to grasp hold of you.
Nah, I'm not good at strength.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Take
That's
that.
a nat 1 for
So you,
0.
so you take 9 points of bludgeoning
My strength is
damage,
bad now.
and you're restrained for the spell's duration, which is concentration up to a minute.
Oh, she's gonna regret that.
Yeah. So you do have, you can as an action attempt to break out later on. But yeah, and then finally, Arthur Grastel will turn around and try and strike at Hikan using his flail. Does a
Damn.
23 hit?
23 does hit.
Okay, so you take 7 bludgeoning damage, and you can see as you remember, the clay-like substance that Grastel was made of when you fought him beforehand begins to remold itself to better suit his situation. And as we come to the end of that, we will pause this combat for here as you continue to fight your way through your rogues gallery of enemies and bad guys that have led you to this moment. So thank you everybody so much for listening / watching. I have been ArticulateT. This has been Hyrule Chronicles, episode 127. In the middle of a boss rush, we have had Renji Vox being played by Nether.
I wanted to Eldritch Blast Fairwind in the face.
We have had Hikan Sio being played by Avrdal.
Bye-bye.
We have had Zaiden Shari being played by Robopirate.
We're gonna get so much XP at the end of this.
Oh yeah.
We have had
Like
Max being
all
played by Keystra.
D20.
I feel like Max is gonna get grabbed by everything. It's gonna be very funny because he's just gonna blow it up.
Yep.
And we'll see you folks next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye now.
Bye.